Welcome back to Castle Conservative Media. Thank you guys for joining me again today. If you have not already, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, check out the links below. We are working on a new website to change the former name. If you guys didn't follow me before, it was Black Conservative Media. Now it's Castle Conservative Media. We're trying to get all Americans to see the importance of humans, not race, right? So with that being said, let's talk about these right-wing fascists. So Charlottesville, this past Saturday, we had a tragic incident where a young lady was killed in the midst of a protest to try to stop the removal of the Robert E. Lee statue. Now, where do we start? First, let's start here. Robert E. Lee was not the person you'd think he was. He fought for the Confederacy for his state of Virginia. He agreed originally and was asked by Abraham Lincoln, or one of Abraham Lincoln's generals, to fight for the Union Army. He soon turned against it when he saw how he felt the North was too aggressive, and they were coming to his state of Virginia to try to, basically the war started. So anyhow, Robert E. Lee did not support slavery. He didn't own slaves. And he actually has several letters, if you look it up, you can look it up on the internet, where he talks about being against slavery. If you guys need me to provide any information for you, please leave a comment below. I'll send you that. Anyhow, the left has tried to, for many years, I grew up in the Reagan era, and the George Bush Sr. era, and then Bill Clinton, and then George Bush Jr., Barack Obama, and now Donald Trump. But starting back from the Reagan era, they used the same tactics. The media wasn't as powerful as it is now, but they would always say he was a racist, and he was a right-wing fascist, and he was a Nazi, and he was a... So let's go back. The Nazis were called the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Okay, National Socialist German Workers' Party. They were ruled by a dictator who believed in the power of the government and the state. He didn't believe in the power of the people running things. He believed in the power of the government running the state. I mean, it's a valuable lesson we could all learn from a person like Adolf Hitler, who destroyed Germany from preemptive war and from destroying its currency. So, a whole nother topic, but let's just talk about these right-wing fascists. During the 1930s, following the 1940s, after World War II, the left had to try to dump some of the blame off of them for what happened in Germany. So what did they do? They used Hollywood, they used the media, and even then they did, to start trying to paint Hitler as a right-winger. So I asked the other day on my Instagram page, or yesterday actually, I said, name one film Hollywood has put out talking about the atrocities of Stalin, or the atrocities of Mao, or the atrocities of Lenin, all the murder and the mayhem that they committed, and the people who opposed them and were killed. Name one film. You can't name one. One guy went on and started naming Rambo, and I was like, no, that film does not deal directly with what I'm talking about. But you can name, starting from the 1950s, numerous Hollywood films that talk about Adolf Hitler, because their goal was to embed in people's mind that Adolf Hitler was a right-wing fascist. And somehow, as things progressed, 1964 comes, the Voting Rights Act, which majority Democrats did not support. The Democrats then go to calling for that big switch. Oh, see, now we confirmed that these right-wingers are now Nazis and fascists. And as the years have progressed, Reagan, wins the presidency, and they say that, oh, he's a right-wing fascist and a right-wing Nazi, and it's been going on for so long that we now see who the true fascists and who the true Nazis are, because it comes from the left. The true fascists and the true Nazis are the Antifa folks who go to every rally and start fights and use violence to try to get their way. Black Lives Matter protesters as well. They go to rallies, and every time they go to rallies, some nonsense breaks out. Think about this. Since I was a kid, we've been laughing at these Klan rallies that they show on television, whether it's the news, a journalist covering it, if there still are journalists out there covering it. No one goes to Klan rallies anymore. Seriously, Donald Trump won the presidency. I'm sure they've had Klan rallies since then. There are not a majority of white people going to these rallies to try to join the Ku Klux Klan. The Klan had their resurgence in the early 1900s, and that resurgence died really fast because the people who saw the purpose of living in America dumped the ideology of white supremacy. But what did the Democrats do? They kept pushing the ideology and pushing the ideology. And then they're doing it now, but they're doing it now with black people, Hispanics, Asians, women, Muslims. They're still doing the same thing. They just found a different group to use it from. But overall, we've been hearing the term right-wing fascist for a very long time. But it holds no merit because I have yet to see Ronald Reagan call for a genocide of Indians. I have yet to see Ronald Reagan, Bush, any of these Republicans call for lynching, segregation, no women's rights, no gun rights. I've yet to see that. The only people I see saying that happen to be from the left. But Donald Trump gets on stage the other day and blames both sides. And everyone, oh, this is an atrocity. And even these Ronald Republicans, who know nothing about life outside of the swamp. Oh, that's wrong. These were the right-wing fascists' fault. If you're blaming one side and not the other, you're siding with the white supremacists. This is a shame, America. The very thing that was created by the First Amendment, freedom of the press, has worked to divide us for a very long time. I said this before, and I actually was on a show today, and I said this on the show. Being black and growing up in the inner city, what did the media try to paint for the rest of the nation or the world that was going on in black America? That all black men like myself were troublemakers, and we're gonna kill you and rape you and take all your stuff when we see you, if you're white or if you're doing well for yourself. When, as I said earlier, 99% of black people are good. John Wooden said it himself. 99% of people are good. But the media divides people by race, by class, by gender, by education, many other ways. How many entrepreneurs who have, created a significant amount of opportunities, jobs, you name it in this country, never finished college. Some never even finished high school. Yet they try to use education as a way to leverage who's better than who. This is the media. The media is the single biggest threat to this country. And I'll keep saying that until they stop. Because the media became a far left movement, they moved away from the people. And they've moved on to just pointing out one side as the problem. Antifa went to Charlottesville with no permits. They caused a bunch of trouble. And they created what happened to that female. Both sides are just as guilty. I say that. Wrong is wrong. But had they not been there, that would have never happened. So why is it that the left tries to define what's more wrong than the other? Again, we just talked about, they say education, if you have more education, you're here. But some rich guy who never even finished junior high gets rich. And he didn't even get a formal education. See, they do the same thing. Wrong. Right-wing fascists are more wrong than this side. Oh, Hitler was more wrong than Stalin. Oh, Hitler was more wrong than Mao. These men were all left-wing dictators who hated anyone who opposed them. Who's getting hit on the head with locks, beat up, shot because they're on the opposite side? I see these fallacies saying, oh, well, it's the right-wing Republicans or the right-wing conservatives who are doing it. Okay, who just blew up a mosque? That was a right-winger, or was that a Muslim who did that? We have to do something about this as a country. As Americans, we have to address this, and we have to go after the media with everything we have. We have to hold them accountable. They created the mischief that we saw in Charlottesville, and I hold them responsible, and I hold both sides, Antifa, white nationalists, Klan members, I hold all of them responsible for what happened. When Trump gets on stage, it doesn't matter what he says. He could have went up there right after it happened. He could have sent in the National Guard. He could have had David Duke, ready to be executed. They still would not appreciate what he says and what he does. Closing with this. It is our duty to use our freedom of speech to get out the truth. All these big left-wing corporations are trying to silence that. Who else tried to silence free speech? Who else tried to kill the press? Who else tried to silence a race or a religion or people who had something to say that was opposite of theirs? Was that right-wing Republicans? Thank you guys for joining me today. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.